Okay, seizing energy. What is seizing energy? To the joints, the muscles go across the joints. If I want to lift my arm up and move, this muscle bridges the tendon ligament to that bone, and it contracts and it creates motion. So movement is controlled by the joints. You control the joints, you control movement. A person cannot move, they can't yield, they can't do anything without bridging the joint. So with seizing energy, you put your attention onto the joints and you seize and grab the joints. You lock the joints. To do this, you have to feel the joints first. Now, to grab something, we're talking about magnetic energy. So when you're doing your basic Qigong exercise, when you're vital breathing, if you pull your joints open as if you're grabbing something and pulling, while you're paying attention to vital energy, your mind will flux towards the magnetic phase of that energy. So your mind becomes more magnetic. As your mind becomes more magnetic through the body mechanics and the feeling of energy, you'll build magnetic fluid inside your body. And this standing practice of pulling the joints open is the root energy for seizing. Once you've done 100 hours of these magnetic Qigong exercises, and there's many others besides that, this is a simple one. Feel vital energy, breathe, pull the joints open, and meditate either sitting or standing on that magnetic quality of pulling until that magnetism gets stronger and stronger. From there, we want to take that magnetic quality and we want to put it inside of a person. So if I can borrow you, the first thing we always do when we touch is find their connection to power, their connection to gravity. If you put a rope around his waist and lift his feet a couple inches off the ground and he tries to push on me, he'll push himself away. So the first thing we always do, what is his relationship to gravity? What is his root of power? The only way he can overcome not having a root is speed, like shooting a gun. The bullet isn't grounded, but it has enough acceleration to do damage. So he loses his mass, but can still produce speed when we cut the root. So when we're looking at internal power mechanisms and how to produce power, you have methods that are based on connected mass. You have methods that are based on speed. We remove his ability to connect mass by connecting the feet and disrupting his root, so he can't send connected mass to you. And this is why we always touch the feet. And the second reason why we always touch the feet is when I'm connected from here to there, I will automatically feel everything in between and naturally gravitate to the centers of tension inside his body between the point of contact and the ground. So you can feel the whole, and then the centers of tension you can also feel. So always touch the foot. When he's doing something with me, he wants to stretch his awareness into my feet, so we get a root-to-root connection as an autopilot type of based behavior for any internal training. If you're doing healing, if I touch my partner here to release tension, I touch his foot, I get a radar rebounding force back to my hand, and then I can relax that energy inside his body to release and do healing on him. So whether I'm doing Tai Chi, healing, or teaching, I want to follow the same process. To open someone's energy system up to learn, to heal, to train requires the same fundamental mechanism. You go through that same door, and then we have all these options inside of that. So I've touched his base. So I've got a connection from there to there, back to here. So it goes down and up so that the radar sends a signal back and I can feel. Once I've got that, then I produce all the physiological triggers in my body to start grabbing each joint. So I feel the line. You may want to pull and push, lever this way and that way on his elbow, lever forward and backward on his shoulder, a little bit in and across on the scapula, down across the ribs, and then into the hip, down the hip, and then across the knees a little bit, and then in and under the ankles and circle. Now you can use vertical circles, horizontal circles, frontal circles around each joint and do those exercises to feel more, because you can only really influence what you can feel. From there, what I want to do is establish these memories of feeling, the frequencies that I can feel, and then I magnetically start seizing those energies. Now, I'm not going to issue yet. I want to build a habit of seizing the energy and then releasing the energy. And when I release, you can guide a jin into it. Just the act of releasing is going to create a reaction. Now, you can do a ward-off energy, a roll back, a press, a push after you've seized, because the jin is going to hit the joint, hit the balance, hit the unconscious, hit the energy field, and create that residual reaction through that opening. For now, we just want to seize, let go, and let the person have a natural response to the energy. Later, you seize, and as you're letting go, you pulse the jin. Now, if I hold that seizing energy and pulse at the same time, the act of seizing will reduce the amount of energy I'm sending through. So there's got to be an overlap, but not at the same time. I don't keep seizing while I issue because my energy will reduce too much. So I touch, I feel. Now, if I start seizing as energy with sung, it's kind of, it's working, but it's not really working. But if I put a little bit of sung in to his joints, and now I magnetically increase the magnetism, that energy that we did in the standing qigong with magnetic, we get an amplified effect. It's going to have a much more dramatic effect. So sung opens the door, the magnetism creates reaction. Now, because there's an underlying unconscious blueprint, a self-fulfilling prophecy, that you want sung, relaxation, spread everything apart, to have a seizing effect, you'll get a partial effect start to work because it's following an unconscious belief structure or pattern. But we want to use sung to open, and then the other energy to come through and do what we want it to do with seizing energy. Okay, so for those of you on YouTube, we'll leave the video there. For those of you on the Vimeo channel, let's go into a bit more depth.